Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Tuesday, June 16th. Hard to believe, but in 14 days, 2 weeks, it is the end of the month. If I did my math correctly on that one, 16 plus 14 is 30. June has 30 days. Yes, it is day 82 of radical understanding, thinking about thinking, finding joy out of suffering, and that is day 5 of harmony. We are almost there. But what is really fascinating for me is I was listening to a podcast while having lunch before we head out, and I was so caught up in the podcast. It was talking about epigenetics and historical trauma and the trauma that we carry in our bodies. And it's so interesting because the affirmation for today's lesson, when I created it over 5 years ago, is I will release the ghosts of the past. Science is really just starting to get into this concept of intergenerational trauma. And I was listening to an podcast by Russell Brand the other day, and he really speaks to the tapestry of the greater design of life. And so it's wonderful. We're having this bit of an unraveling, this bit of an unmasking in our culture. But what a lot of people fail to understand is that once you start pulling on the thread of humanity, it's going to go all the way back. So on one hand, it's great that we're going to take down statues and change names of buildings and towns of individuals who were racist or had slaves, but we really need to go all the way back because we need to abolish government, abolish monetary policy, and in effect, get rid of everything and start fresh. And of course, probably 200-300 years from now, there'll be another level of consciousness, and our ancestors, 300 years from now, will probably look back at us and say we were idiots for doing what we did. That is humanity. That is the evolution through time. So I then look forward to tomorrow's material, and I'm really excited because there was a quote that I heard by this author, and it really resonated for tomorrow's topic as well. But back to the matter at hand. Harmony. I heard someone say many, many years ago that God is never the problem for most people. Jesus seems to be the problem. And that is what gets a lot of people's backs up. Because a lot of us have this conditioned idea about what God means. And then that makes the idea of connecting with the universe difficult for some. To me, I don't view it necessarily as connecting with God specifically, but rather some creative intelligence, a higher being. Even scientists are now starting to use words like designer or intelligence, because they're beginning to admit that the laws that govern life on Earth, the laws of the universe, are just so well tuned that it could not have happened by accident. And I believe there is a right way for us to feel about this connection to divine consciousness. Because once you align yourself with divine consciousness, you start to feel the power of that harmony. You are in flow. You have clarity in all you do. You live a life with loving intention. And the more clearly you see, unselfishly, that is, the more creative you become. And the reality that I know is that once you transcend consciousness, you begin to vibrate at the nth degree, the infinite degree. But negative emotions such as fear and jealousy and envy and greed and anger are going to keep you living in a state of disharmony and create blockages, which in turn are going to bring repetitive cycles of negative emotions until you can finally release whatever disharmonious emotion or experience is attached to you. And that could be something from 1700 years ago. The concept of intergenerational trauma. We don't know everything that our parents and our grandparents and our great-grandparents went through, but I can guarantee you that within your genetics and within your body, it knows. And there's a lot of studies and a lot of research being done right now with how people communicate and how their body responds to their communication. So what can you do? Well, start to pay attention. If you get angry at something, take the moment to say to yourself, I'm not actually angry at that person. But the reality is there's something within me that is trying to express ourselves. That provides the opportunity to overcome negative fear, negative emotions through the process of staying curious and self-reflection through that curiosity. That's my thought for today. I love you all. I hope you're well and safe. And until tomorrow, please remember to be kind to yourself and to others.